even if I do observe an imbalance, does that imbalance have I mean, in research, they'll look at it from, does it have a statistical significance? And in my real-time practice, I kind of look at it as, does it have significance to progression, and does it have significance to injury risk? And in some cases where, like, we're asymmetrical structures anyway,
Yeah, of course.
so you will always be able to observe imbalance.
Oh yeah, big time.
And then it's like, okay, how much do I need to point that imbalance out to somebody
Yeah,
if it's not statistically significant, or significant to injury risk,
yeah,
or significant to their ability to progress in something?
yeah.
Because then the second I start pointing that out and making the narrative about that, I find that we're now moving away
From
from actually training and getting stronger.
yeah.
And so,
But you could also train to get stronger with working
of course, you
laterally
can.
as well.
I look at what I'm referring to is the psychological um, uh, aspect of that person's experience and what they then focus on,
Yeah,
and then what I can actually move the session towards.
yeah.
And so I spent years, actually during my time at Nuffield, working a lot on imbalances and asymmetries, and doing a lot of corrective exercise stuff. And that wasn't like a bad experience by any means, and I definitely helped a lot of people. I eventually figured out that I was overdoing it sometimes, and I was over assessing and over analyzing and making too much of their program about that.
Yeah.
And I learned there was a certain point where, I mean, I remember my first sessions with people sometimes would literally be me. I'm not kidding you. I would assess every joint action.
Yeah.
We're talking about,
Ankle dorsiflexion.
like the 6 actions that are happening at the ankle,
Yeah.
the 3 that are happening at the knee,
Yeah.
the 6 that are happening at the hip, and I'd go. It would take ages, and some people really, really like appreciated that I went to that level of detail and being like, okay, cool. With hip internal rotation is like slightly a few degrees off from the left side to the right side, blah blah blah. But what I got time to see is how much of that was actually relevant to them, and was I then like kind of wasting time a little bit?
Yeah.
Where I could have just been training them.
Yeah. I guess also it's about seeing what their main goal is, and then basically adding like sprinkle of, because it's like, okay, what do they want?
That's it. Yeah.
And then what do they need as well?
Is there anything that gets in the way of what they want?
Yeah.
And so I'll pay attention to that to a degree. And whilst looking at imbalances it's part of the equation. And then at that time that the 4 or 5 years I spent really focusing on that, I made it the whole equation. And what I learned later on is that I could have saved a lot of time in that client's journey when I just focused on the training. I quietly observed if there was an issue, and I would intervene in a very subtle way by saying, oh, I'm just going to add this exercise in now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not necessarily telling them that there's like some sort of thing that I need to like fix or whatever, because I don't want them to feel like they're broken, and I want them to focus on actually pushing forward with the training, feeling strong, continuing to feel empowered.
Of course.
And I'm in the background tidying up stuff. And that's my job as in the support function. Because what I found is when I did sort of highlight things, because what we do naturally, and even for myself and yourself for sure, like we're both injured right now, right? Even though I know all of this stuff, I'm a human. So I'm going to hyperfixate on the one thing, right, that's like negative, and be like, I can't, like, and I found that it really inhibited like just all the other positive stuff that we could be getting on with. And it created a little bit more apprehension around certain movements. It came a little more apprehension around making certain progressions. So I kind of changed the way I was communicating with people, and my outcomes improved significantly.
Yeah, of course.
And I just kind of learned, it's that whole thing, even in social interactions, right? A silly example, but let's say somebody's breath doesn't smell very nice.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But you don't know them that well.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be rude.
No.
You don't want to just come out and be like, mate, your breath stinks.
Yeah.
Because now what's going to happen is all they're going to focus on is the fact that their breath smells really bad, and they're not going to be able to really like communicate with you
Of course.
and enjoy the experience and whatever else not. And so you have to be very subtle.
So just get the chewing gum out
That's it.
and just have some for yourself and be like,
Yeah.
do you want some?
Do you want some?
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
exactly what
Yeah.
I found I was trying to do. I've had to learn how to do that socially as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that good at, like, not just pointing out the thing, right?
Yeah.
But it really helped me a lot when I was able to like not hyperfixate on every little observation that I was coming across.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I was literally like, I'd film them and I'd be like analyzing them, you know. And it's really cool stuff, and I love doing it.